Fact-checked 5 times. She was fact-checked none. By the way, a brand new interview just dropped from a local TV station, and it is an absolute disaster. This woman is just a terrible candidate. You're not going to believe how bad this is. No specifics, stories about her life. The same garbage she gave as the first question, which everybody literally, all these independents said the same thing. She didn't answer the question. We have no idea what her plans are. And she's run this in administration for almost 4 years, and it's a disaster. That's why 6 out of 10 independents on a panel that watched the debate with Reuters, definitely a liberal independent news outlet, like it's like AP. Their 6 of 10 panelists said they're leaning towards or will vote for Trump after the debate, and only 3 said Kamala, and 1 said I don't know yet. So 6 to 3, I'll take those odds. Okay. Do you think the ABC News and its moderators should be investigated for their biased rigged debate? How fair do you think the ABC News moderators were in that debate? How much bias did they show? I'll be reading a little bit of highlights. There's not too many of them from the column from Mark Penn and Andrew Stein, former Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton pollster and former president of the Manhattan City Council. Here's a few. The false claims that he favors national abortion ban and opposes in vitro, not true. He called neo-Nazis Charlottesville very fine people, not true, they say, and that he threatened a bloodbath if he loses the election, not true. The moderators turned to Mrs. Harris after her lies and said that has been debunked. We might have had they said that to her lies, that has been debunked. We might have had a totally different conversation about the debate. The CNN moderators did it right. They exemplified fairness, they say. Had they spent time like this correcting Mr. Trump while letting the opponent off the hook as they did? Had CNN done that for Joe Biden, they said in the first debate? Had they done what ABC News did for Kamala, Joe Biden might still be the nominee, they wrote. Joe Biden may not have been knocked out because if ABC News, how they rigged it, did it for Joe and Trump, they probably would still be the nominee. That's stunning to hear them say that. Okay, let's go to Hank in Avant. You're on WBAP. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. And I think, Trump played this as he normally does in a winning situation from the standpoint he knew that it was going to be a biased 3-on-1 deal. And what he did was basically put the facts out there. And Kamala, true to form, had her hands whipping everywhere. And the deal was... You
have to admit, though, that Trump lost the debate as far as his handling because he didn't do his part, but it was rigged, though.
Well, I think it was rigged, but he walked in there fair-eyed, knowing it was rigged, and Trump being Trump. He did his thing.
He took the bait, unfortunately, every time. But here's the thing. Do you want an investigation? Do you think they should, and how fair was it?
An investigation would be a waste of time. It was foregone, foreknown. Trump knew it. And as we go on, and as we talk about the bias as far as fact-checking goes, the independents, the target, is going to look at this and say, hey, second thought. Right.
A lot of them are thinking that now. Thanks for your call. Kenny in Fort Worth, you got 25 seconds. Go.
Yeah, I think Kamala was in on it, too. I think she knew the whole time it was rigged. I think she knew I'm not saying she knew the questions, but I think she knew the moderators were going to back her up and everything. She was so confident the whole time. She was smug so she told a lie. She knew she wasn't going to be questioned on it. I mean, how can you sit there and talk about Charlottesville and not think the monitors are going to say something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, here's what I think. I got to roll, my friend, but here's what I think. I think the ABC News moderators were talked to. I forgot to tell you this. Kamala's best friend, Kamala and Doug Emhoff's best friend is the woman, the male who's the president of Disney, of ABC Disney. It's either ABC Disney or it's ABC News. ABC, I think it's actually ABC. They are besties with the head of the ABC, of the president of ABC. So I know they had a talk. I know he said, we got you. And there's no question. There's no question. They're besties. Number two, there's no question that the president of ABC had a talk with them and said, listen, rest assured, not on paper, on the phone or in person, rest assured, we want you to go after him. Do your thing. That when you get if your general manager calls you and tells you they want to do that, how likely are you to disobey him? Especially when you hate Trump and when you think that CNN did a bad job when they did perfect. That is the truth. Next, eating the pets. I have so much more on this you're not going to believe, actually. And it's gone viral, and I think it's unequivocally helping Trump. All that is next. You hear so much more audio. It's blowing up, and it's to Trump's favor on TikTok, of all places, where the youngins are. That's coming up at 33 after the hour, next on The Chris Crock Show, WBAP. Okay, I have to pause the show to get into something that's breaking. This is from Action News 6 in Philadelphia. You're not going to believe this. Kamala gave her first interview today from by herself. She didn't have her comfort blanket, Tim Walz, with her. And I want you to listen to this, and you can see this on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. That's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. I will also put it up on my Instagram stories in a second, but I'll need a second for that because of my logins and all that stuff. Sometimes it takes a second. Let's see here. I might be able to put it up right now on Instagram. Let us see, my friends. Okay. Anyways, let me play this for you because it just came through. Whoops. Sorry about that. And let's go to there. Where was it? Where did it go? There it is. Okay, this is brand new. She was interviewed tonight, and here's what I tweeted about this, and I actually meant it. I'm not trying to be rude or mean, but this is amazingly true. I wrote this. I put... this woman is a disaster as a candidate. More of this, please. And I was sitting watching it a moment ago and staring at it intently. And this woman is acting. Do you remember how she did a show? She did a pre-recorded thing on Space, and the kids were all child actors around her? And that came out. Do you remember how she was so nervous about attending a state dinner and making sure she acted the right way that she had a fake state dinner party? Her handlers as vice president put together a fake state dinner party, and they had all these people around her acting like they were the actual people, and she acted as if she was doing it. That's all published reports. That's not a fringe thing. Both of those two things are real. This woman does not know how to be authentic. And the way you can really see this is through her first question, spontaneous, inside of Pennsylvania today was a disaster. Listen to this. It was just a spontaneous question as she walked into some place in Pennsylvania. Obviously, it was all planned out. Listen to this. So you're not going to believe how bad this was. Listen to this.
How are you feeling about Pennsylvania?
I am feeling very good about Pennsylvania because there are a lot of people in Pennsylvania who deserve to be seen and heard. That's why I'm here in Johnstown, and I will be continuing to travel around the state.
I'm feeling good about Pennsylvania because these people are here and they need to be heard. How does it make you feel great? That's a statement of that's a fact. There's people here that should be heard, but that's not how you feel. How are you feeling about Pennsylvania? So you see how vapid she is? That's a normal question that she doesn't have a script for. Here she is today in an interview with Pennsylvania, with the first local interview in Philadelphia. Action News 6 tonight is being released, and this is going to make you go, wow.
At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we can drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, but a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn, and I was raised to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity, and that we as Americans have a beautiful character. We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother,
all right, actually, let me continue on.
Worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother.
We are now literally, let me do the math here, a minute 22. We're a minute and 27 seconds. Did she answer the question? He said specifically, what are you going to do to help us with the economy, help people with the economy? She has not answered the question. She's told stories from her life that have nothing to do with how she's going to help you and me in this economy. The truth is, in the state she's in tonight, in Pennsylvania, she has, since she took over with Joe, she's driven up prices, inflation for all Pennsylvanians, 19% in 3.5 years. They are paying $982 a month for energy, transportation, groceries, gasoline. Well, I guess that was part of the energy and transportation, but and there's a couple more categories in there. But that's the average Pennsylvanian cost, and that's why she has no answer. But the woman doesn't have a real answer. Did you hear one there? All right. Do we want to give her more time, or should we stop and take some calls on this? Okay, let's give her a little bit more. This is 1 minute and 38 seconds into her comments after she was asked a question. What specifically are you going to do to help people in this economy?
She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Okay, we're now exactly, I paused it because that's 2 minutes exactly into her answer. She's giving you one idea that has nothing to do with helping us. She wants to give $50,000 of our money to small business owners instead of $5,000, I guess is what they get as a tax thing. How does that affect you and me? How does giving 45 extra grand out of our pocket to a small business owner, I won't even debate whether that's good or bad. I just say, how does that help you and me? How does that help lower inflation? Do you know? How does that help get inflation down? How does that help lower grocery prices? Does it? Of course not. How does that help lower energy prices? How does that help put food on our table and not have to work two full-time jobs like 500,000 Americans are doing? It's the highest that's ever happened on record. We have the highest inflation in 40 years under her and Joe's administration, and she raved about it. I can play the time how many times she raved and said Bidenomics is working, Bidenomics is great. And her only idea in 2 minutes specific is something she's already laid out like a week ago. Do you feel confident this woman can actually... Do you feel like she's acting as you're listening to this? And I encourage you to watch it. It's on Facebook, on my Twitter feed, I should say, at Chris Kroc Show, ChrisKrock. I also will link it up, put it up on Instagram stories on same handle, at Chris Kroc Show. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Do you feel like this candidate, this Kamala Harris, our vice president, do you feel like she knows what she's doing around inflation and business? Do you feel she's competent to handle the biggest issue in Americans' lives by 21%? More than 1 in 5 of every American says the main issue in their lives is inflation and the economy. Number 2 issue is illegal immigration. This is amazing. She literally, and as you watch these mannerisms, how she talks, it's literally the same thing she said when she answered the same question in the debate. The exact same words. She has memorized this, and she is acting as if she's passionate and cares. She's pausing and putting her head and her facial expressions the same way she did in the debate. It's the exact same thing. It's not authentic. There's no change up in the words. I bet you we could put this up next to literally and hit play on the same words, on the same answer to the same question in the ABC News debate. I'll bet you we'll hear the exact same words. I'm not kidding you. We are 2 minutes into her question about what can you do to help us in the economy, and she's given one idea for small business owners which will not help the economy for us. Do you want to pop this guy on real fast or no? Okay, actually, Phil has a great comment out of Richardson. You're going to be first out of the box in 2 minutes. It's 46 after the hour. We have 4 lines open, 800-288-WBAP with this breaking news. It is 11 minutes. I've played you 2 minutes and 38 seconds. There are 8.5 minutes. We're going to play clips and continue to talk about this. So far, she can't give us one answer on what she will do to help us with the inflation and the economy. It's stunning to me. And it seems to be the exact same words and answer and mannerisms and speech that she gave at the debate a couple nights ago in Philadelphia as well. That's stunning. 800-288. These people, there's a live audience in there. I think they're going to be like, holy crap, this woman has no plan. She has no idea what she's doing. It's the same thing she said at the debate. This is incredible. This is very good for us. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. You hear more, and we'll talk, and we'll take Phil's call, plus yours. 4 lines open, 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. That's coming up with more audio from her interview today that just broke on Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. All right, breaking news. The Kamala interview with a local Richardson, a local Philadelphia affiliate, Action 6 News. The guy's there in front of a live studio audience, and she is not doing well already. I love it, actually. She is, Trump War Room literally tweeted out the whole interview and said, new campaign ad just dropped, because it's that bad. Now, I played you 2 minutes, and he asked the same question at the debate. What would you do, and how would you help us in the economy and the inflation? And she literally, I played you it verbatim, and it's 2 minutes directly the same thing she said, almost, I bet you it's word for word, that she said during the debate, and no answer. We are 2 minutes and 38 seconds into an 11-minute interview that just dropped, and the woman all she's done is say one thing at the very end in 2 minutes. $50,000 I'm going to give to a small business owner. How does that help you and me with inflation? How does that help with grocery prices? How does that help with gas prices and home energy prices? How does that help with car insurance that's gone up 55% under her and Joe? How does that help us? Stunning. Phil and Richardson, and I'm asking you, how is she doing so far in her new interview? Has she shared anything new with you? Do you think this woman knows how to, the vice president knows anything about helping not businesses? Well, that too, but I'm focusing on the economy and inflation, which are the biggest issues. Nothing about small business owners. 800-288-WBAP. Phil and Richardson, what do you think so far, my friend?
I think, she has given nothing of any substance since the debate. The $50,000 deduction is what she's calling it. You could easily write off against any income in first year of business against that. So it's kind of, it's not anything direct. It's just a nice number, 50,000. Oh, great.
And guess what else? She would tax the businesses insane once they get successul. Mark Cuban, I've played it for you on CNBC. He blasted it. He said it would ruin the stock market. It was a disaster, but he's a huge Kamala supporter other than that. Second of all, Ro Khanna, her liberal Democrat, Silicon Valley Democrat from California, who literally is one of her spokespeople for her campaign, blasted it and said it'll destroy the internet, venture capitalism. Like, all the tech people will be blown up because they will have to pay what they gain, and they will look good on paper, but they will have to pay out money and take a loan out. That's what Mark Cuban said on CNBC, which I played for you. He said, I'll have to, what did he say, something hock, go into hock or something like that? Go into debt, huh?
Right. Yeah, it'll be terrible. And calling she's going to create an opportunity economy as if the United States hasn't been the greatest opportunity economy ever on the face of the earth. I got an opportunity for. How about this? Commission salespeople like me that have lumpy income. Bring back income averaging instead of like crushing me every year I have a good year. I will pay over $100,000 in income taxes this year and get nothing for it. Not to mention what I pay in state and local. She'll let the Trump tax cuts expire, and she will not bring back deductions. She'll leave SALT at $10,000, and that measly $24,000
it's a giveaway.
Deduction.
SALT is the giving a massive deduction for people who are wealthy on their mortgages instead of cutting it off at like $500,000, I think, right?
Oh, no, state and local taxes are capped at $10,000. You live in Texas, man.
Right, but no, I'm saying SALT. SALT is about your house, I understand, and it's about writing off your mortgage.
Well, you write off the mortgage. SALT is state and local taxes.
Okay.
Your mortgage interest would also be written off. So, yes, a jumbo mortgage.
A jumbo mortgage, which is where you don't need help because you have you don't need all that extra money for your $500,000 to $1 million and $2 million houses for interest, and that would be written off for people who don't need help. By the way, you talk about the Trump tax cuts, and she would let them expire. The Wall Street Journal says the Trump tax cut reform and deregulation boosted growth, which resulted in a tighter labor market and rising wages without fueling inflation. So,
of course it did.
Yeah. I appreciate your call. Yeah.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Man.
Great call, my friend. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. How's she doing, guys? Is she answering any of these questions? Does she sound like she can stop inflation and help you with grocery prices, gas and energy prices, and car insurance? Eddie in Texas, you've called in. We got 4 lines open, 800-288-WBAP. Eddie, WBAP, what's up?
Well, I live on Social Security, and me and my wife, and we draw X amount of dollars a month, which is not very much. But it just keeps going up, and up. We can't hardly make it at all anymore. And I have my son and everything that helps us live. And when I hear that woman start trying to talk, it makes me want to gag. Now, I'm sorry, but it's just sickening. Because her and him has turned this economy into a pile of nothing.
Well, I appreciate they've destroyed this economy. As I shared from the Wall Street Journal and the U.S. Census Bureau data, they analyzed it, and you make insanely less in the first 3 years of Biden and Kamala than you did Trump. I'll give the details again later. All right, you're going to hear more of this brand new interview that just dropped Kamala. It's a disaster so far. Will she give you the answers to the questions you have? So far, nothing to help inflation. That's coming up on the Chris Crock Show. Plus your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.